In this episode, I'll be making some decorative doorways, with a few different interchangeable doors. Hello again. So, as usual, down in the description there's a link to this PDF file, which is a pay what you want download, so, download it for free, or, well, pay what you want. Anyway, the first thing we'll need to do is take one of the door textures, and we're going to be gluing that to some thick card. Mine is around 1mm thick. So, that's what you can see me doing here, just using a regular glue stick. There you go. Then we'll give that a few minutes to dry, but to speed things up, here's one that's already dry. And we'll just need to cut that out with a sharp knife and a metal ruler. And obviously, do try to be careful when using a sharp knife. Anyway, when that's done, it should look something like this. Next, we'll cut out the other side of the door, and, once again, apply plenty of glue to the back, and then stick that to the other side of the cardboard. So, there you go, this kind of thing. Okay, next we'll glue these two textures to some more thick card, and in this instance, I'm using some that's 2mm thick. Though, you can use the same thickness throughout really, I'm just using some bits and pieces that I have lying around. And then, we'll cut those to size as well. Then, for this next part, I like to take a bit of PVA glue and use that to stick these little decorative strips to the top of the door. So, that's the first side done, and here I am doing the other side. And what we're aiming for is something like this. So, hopefully you can see what I've done there. But yeah, that's the door piece done. Okay, for the next part, we're first going to stick these textures to some thin cereal box card, and then cut two of those to size. There you go. We'll then do a similar thing with these textures, but as you just saw, we'll glue these to some corrugated card, or foam core, or anything like that. And if you've watched the last two videos, then you'll know what's coming next. So, rather than cutting them exactly to size, we're actually going to trim a little bit extra off these two sides here. So, to repeat myself again, if the card we used for these was 1mm thick, then the extra amount we're going to need to trim off each of these two sides is also going to be 1mm. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I've done with these two pieces. But yeah, we'll then run a line of hot glue along the edge of one of the thicker pieces, and then glue one of the thinner pieces into place. So that we end up with this kind of thing, a little corner piece. Then we'll just need to glue the other two side panels into place as well, and as I say, if you've watched the last few episodes, then it's the same kind of thing you've seen me do a couple of times now. And there you go, this is how it should look. So, a sort of little square pillar. Okay, next we'll glue this texture to more cereal box card, and when it's dry, we'll cut that to size. Then, it's just a simple matter of gluing that to the top, which should result in something that looks like this. And when we've done that, we can then make another one in the exact same way. Okay, for this last piece, we'll glue these two textures to more thick card, and I think the stuff I'm using here is around 1.5mm thick, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm just using some offcuts for this project. You might prefer to use the same thickness throughout. And as you've probably guessed, we'll then need to cut those to size. Next, we'll glue these two spacer pieces to some cardboard, but for these, I've chosen some card that's a little bit thicker than the door piece that we made at the very beginning. A little bit thicker than this piece here. And we'll then cut those to size as well. Now, for this next part, I'll go back to using the PVA glue. And we're just going to glue these spacers to the inside edges of one of the archways, in the orientation that you can see here on the screen. So, here I am gluing the second one into place, making sure that it's flush with the side and the bottom of the arch, and also removing any excess glue. So, there you go. As you can see, we want the angled sides at the top sloping down towards the middle of the piece. And then we can apply some more glue to the top of the spacers, and stick the other side of the arch on top. And that should result in something like this. And if I show the top, you can see the little slot where the door is going to fit. Though I am going to lay something heavy on top while it dries, just so that it dries nice and flat. Right then, so if I quickly bring in the 3 pieces that we've just made, we can start gluing these together. So, after a quick test fit, I like to run a thin line of glue along the edge of the archway, and then stick that to the side of one of the pillars. And once I'm happy that that's roughly centralised, I'll then do the same thing on the other side. And as you can see, I'm also making sure that the archway is flush with the bottom of the pillars. And when that's done, we should be left with this kind of thing. And again, if I tilt it forward, you can see the slot where the door is going to go. So we can have an open doorway like shown here, or we could slot one of the wooden doors into place and now we have a closed door. And I've also provided a few different doorways in the PDF, just to give us more options. And as a quick example, here it is with the rusty iron door in place. Though I do want to point out that, as well as the doorways that I've made in this video, I've also included a couple of extra pages at the end of the PDF, which can be used to make simplified versions of the door, like this one here, which is ideal if you just want something quick, or if you want to use them in conjunction with all of the 2.5 details that I've been making these past few years. However, if you are going to do that, then it's definitely worth shrinking them down a little bit, when printing them out, just so that they are slightly smaller than 2 inches wide, as this will give us a little bit of wiggle room, and it means they're less likely to get caught on the walls of the tiles. But yeah, I think that's it for this one, so here's a picture of these and some of the other Dwarven themed stuff that I've been making recently, which, as you can see, I'm using with the tiles from the Dungeon Short series. So I'll end this one by saying thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you can put some of this stuff to use. Bye for now.